Hi, I'm Jim Johnson. Today is 2020, July 11th. That's probably the reverse order. Today I'm going to be making an omelet. I think some of the most important things are the most simple things and doing the simple things right. And an omelet's a fantastic thing. So we start off with 2 eggs. And you want to make sure you don't have any shells in there. Of course, my hands are very clean. Some people will use a whisk. I prefer a fork because it just seems to work a little bit faster. Now, the reason I chose an omelet is because it's one of those simple skills that you should have. If you can make an omelet, it's the same as giving that special person in your life a bouquet of flowers. If you're looking for a special person and you want to impress them, making an omelet's an easy way to do it. There's so many variations. Today we're going to go with a slightly spicy South American one. But it's all about being delicate. Now, when you beat the eggs, it's really important that you don't have any, I guess what you call clear spots. Those clear spots is what comes out to be the white part. And then that white part turns out to be white in your omelet, and that's kind of creepy, I think, to people. So you want to have some consistency. Plus, all the good stuff is in the fat of the yolk. All right, the eggs are nice and beat. I've got some butter set aside here. I've got a little bit of garlic, sea salt with truffle salt. I've got some green onions, I've got some cheese, and some special jalapenos. Some people use a little bit of butter in the pan, or excuse me, some people use a little oil with their butter to prevent the butter from burning. But I would rather just be on point and just keep it with the flavor of the butter. Make sure you get the pan up to temperature and then put the eggs in. And this pan has been warming up for just a little bit. You don't want too much butter, but you want enough butter that's going to coat the bottom of the pan. All right, starting to get nice and warm there. And there's so many different ways that people do their omelets. My way just happens to be the right way, that's all. Okay. Make sure that pan gets nice and hot. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of truffle salt and garlic sea salt into the mix. Typically, if you were making just like a really plain omelet, really you're good enough with just salt and eggs and a little bit of butter. Today we're going to have a little bit more flavor. We're not going to add any other proteins. The eggs are going to be enough. All right, that temperature is good. I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs in. And I use a spatula to get the rest of it out. Want not, waste not. Okay, because I don't like a mess, I put it right back into my holder there. And we're just waiting for it to heat up. Now, as you can see, I have a little bit of a little kitchen, which is totally fine. You don't need a lot of space. What's really important when you don't have a lot of space is to manage your space well. So you can see I set all my ingredients out ahead of time. Now I'm able to cook efficiently and I don't have to be running back and forth in my space. Okay, now I'm taking my spatula, and as I can see the white, it starts changing to a paler color of egg around the edges. I start to lift that up and I move some of the yolk underneath it. That way we can get all the liquid part to a solid evenly and faster. There we go. And you want it to be nice and pretty because presentation is a huge part of cooking. Good, and European style is typically to cook the egg much less than Americans. Americans typically cook the egg much more, and they both think that the other person is wrong. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of butter so that I can make a nice flip, and I'm going to cook it somewhere between European and American mode, which is it's not going to be brown, but it's not going to be wet. And the reason for putting the butter underneath right now is so that I can make a good flip on it. And I can start moving the egg and see that, okay, it's got some movability there. Put a little bit more butter so I can make my final flip. That's why God gave us 2 hands. Okay. Monkeys, I think, would have a really hard time making omelets. Definitely a 1-arm monkey. All right, got the butter underneath there. Feels like it's going good. Make a nice flip. Good, nice and gentle. And you can see I've got a little bit of brown, but I don't want too much. So before it cooks too much, now I just take a little bit of cheese. And you don't want too much because really the star of the show here is the egg, and that's why you don't want to overcook it. And I just turn the heat down a little bit. I take some of my truffle salt. Truffle salt is really powerful and really delicious, so you don't want to use too much of it. And then grab another fork. I've got these fantastic jalapenos. I wish I could tell you what they were pickled in, but it's a recipe that's a secret even to me. So I just buy it and put it in there, and it's fantastic. It's got a little kick. Almost tastes like it was marinated in bacon grease, to be honest with you. Okay, and now I'm going to take this egg, delicately flip it over. That's beautiful, it's not too much. And now we're going to put a little more cheese on top, and this is really just for presentation. There you go. A little more truffle salt, just a tad. I'm gonna put some of these green onions on top for color. And as I said before, presentation really, really matters. So you don't want to rush it. You want to take the time. These little jalapenos can look really pretty if you place them nicely on your plate. Fantastic. And then I've got my plate here. And then we have a beautiful omelet. It's got a lot of flavor. And if you wanted to doll it up, you can put a little sour cream on it. And if you wanted to make it plain, just take out all the ingredients besides the eggs and the salt and the butter. So I'm Jim Johnson. Bon appetit.